Some info on Naughty Dog's next title. Another example of bad management at Ubisoft. A big demo for a big upcoming game is happening this week. We got a ton of gaming news to go over, so sit back and let's go. Let's start with Naughty Dog's new game. Yes, we finally have some new information, and it sounds like a very logical step for the studio. In a Min-Max podcast, host Ben Hansen, previously at Game Informer, noted that he had some information from someone who worked on this new Naughty Dog game, saying that the title will offer a lot of player freedom. So this person also compared this new game to another title with a lot of player freedom, but Ben did not want to say what that was. But it is interesting because almost 2 years ago Neil Druckmann said that he is recently intrigued by stuff like Elden Ring and Inside that don't rely as much on traditional narrative to tell a story. And if you think about it, The Last of Us already had a lot of environmental storytelling, like iconic locations that without words tell you what happened. Seems like that will be the focus of this new IP. Because yes, while The Last of Us Part 3 is coming, they first will do a new IP, and I think it will be open world, or at least have more open levels. A trend we already saw with the Madagascar level in Uncharted 4. Then in The Lost Legacy we had an open area with 3 objectives you could do in any order, and then we moved on to Seattle in The Last of Us Part 2 with even more points of interest that could be completed however you want it, or you could skip them as well and then would miss out on some pretty fun content. Totally my favorite part of The Last of Us Part 2. And maybe it won't be like Elden Ring, but it could be a fantasy title. Remember how in The Last of Us Part 1 they added concept art for a fantasy style game? Like this wasn't there in the original and the PS4 remaster, only in the PS5 version. So let me know if a fantasy, more open Naughty Dog game sounds appealing to you, or what you want to see from the studio in the comments down below. A big new open world game that is more imminent is Crimson Desert, and this week people have been playing 1 hour of the game, as French streamer Sultan teased on Twitter. So we should expect a lot of new gameplay and impressions very soon, but we also learned this week that Sony wanted to make Crimson Desert a timed exclusive for PS5, but developers Pearl Abyss said no. And this was just a deal to keep the game off Xbox for a certain period of time, which for one is interesting. Like, even though the PlayStation 5 is outselling the Xbox Series big time, especially recently, Sony is still waving money around to secure big console exclusives. But good on Pearl Abyss to say no and release the game to more people. I really think that if it is as good as it looks, and from what we played at Gamescom, then this could be very big. Maybe not Black Myth Wukong big, but totally comparable in terms of success for a lesser known studio. If you, by the way, want to check out our impressions and breakdown of the gameplay, check that video that we made after Gamescom via the link in the video description. And speaking of Black Myth Wukong, the game is getting a physical release on PS5. It's up for pre-order now on the different retailers. No release date yet, but it should be out before the end of the year. So if you waited for a disc, then there are no excuses anymore. There's totally a chance that this game ends up being my favorite game of the year. It really delivered, and I can't wait to see more content that should be in the works. Now, interesting fact by the way, this week we learned that 82% of all the PS5 consoles are won with a disc drive. I think Sony also made way less of the digital only model, but still it shows you that people want the option at least, although things are changing. As of September 2024, the digital PS5 sales made up for 40% of the new sales for the month. I only used a physical disc once on my PS5, so likely won't get the disc drive on the PS5 Pro. Let me know if you still use physical discs, of course, in the comments down below. Speaking of digital games though, I'm giving away an upcoming game of your choice. We'll be sending the winner a PlayStation gift card, Xbox gift card, or money through PayPal if you want to pre-order a game on PC, but only for subscribers of the channel. So if you are a subscriber or become one, like we're so close to the 1 million, I want to reach it this year, so I want to incentivize some of you who are watching and not subscribed yet. You can enter via the link in the pinned comment. Of course, leave a like on this video as well, and subscribe also to just be up to date, because we post one of these big gaming news roundup videos every Sunday. Maybe you saw the news already that the Prince of Persia game team has been disbanded at Ubisoft. The Lost Crown did not sell as well as Ubisoft would have wanted, and the team wanted to do a sequel, but Ubisoft said no, because that sequel would likely sell worse than the first game. But still, this title sits at an 86 on Metacritic, one of the highest scores for a Ubisoft game ever, and they still decided to disband this perfectly functional team. Like Insider Gaming reports that they pitched this game in summer 2020 and then released it 3.5 years later, which is kind of an achievement nowadays, especially as most of the development was during COVID. But turns out that Ubisoft expected Metroid Dread numbers on launch. That game sold 3 million and took almost 2 years to do that, which made it the highest selling Metroid game ever. And it's kind of wild that Ubisoft expected a 2D Prince of Persia that they dropped in January with limited marketing to do as well as a core Nintendo franchise on a console where every Nintendo exclusive does very well. I don't think that was realistic. They should not have made this a $50 release, but $30 max, comparable to other Metroidvanias, and also sold it day one on Steam, where things like Dead Cells made most of their money. You could also argue that sure, people wanted Prince of Persia back, but they wanted another 3D game, not 2D like The Lost Crown. They then also suddenly launched the Rogue Prince of Persia, another side-scrolling game in the same franchise, to oversaturate the already small market. This bad management all around. Now, to be fair, instead of laying everyone off, they are reallocating these people, so Insider Gaming reports that most of the team has joined the development of Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yes, that game is still happening and they got a new creative director. Like, this is still many years away and there's no way that this game is making all the money back that Ubisoft invested in it, and so I don't know what they're doing. Now, also around a dozen employees have moved on to Project Over, the next mainline Ghost Recon, and that should be out before April 2026. But yeah, imagine going from making an amazing Metroidvania to working on PvP maps or something for a first-person tactical shooter with Ghost Recon. That can be a great feeling. Now, there's more though, because around a dozen have also moved on to Project Steambot, a Rayman remake in development at Ubisoft Milan. So this was first a rumor from Insider Gaming, but Ubisoft actually confirmed this. So Ubisoft Milan is the Mario plus Rabbids team. They of course did the Rayman DLC for that and are now seemingly remaking a 3D Rayman according to a leak. But really, who is asking for this? Let me know if it's you in the comments, because I want to know. To me, this just once again shows me that Ubisoft is doing too many unnecessary things without a clear focus to turn the situation around. They are not learning, and that just really sucks to see. Now let's get this one over with, once and for all. Killzone is not coming back, at least not by Guerrilla. If you have been following the channel for a while, then you know that Guerrilla is solely focused on Horizon games, but still, there were always some people speculating that the Killzone series might come back as well. But now we have the art director saying that after Shadowfall, they were done with it as a team. As a studio, we needed to refresh the palette. It was by choice the opposite of Killzone. And facts don't lie, Horizon has been way more successful for them, with Zero Dawn selling more than all Killzone games combined. Now, I had a great time with Killzone, especially the multiplayer of the second game, but I don't know if there's still a place for it in the current shooter landscape. Now, I do hope that Guerrilla will spread their wings again and make something new after Horizon 3 and the online game are out, but that will likely be closer to the type of game Horizon is in terms of broad appeal than the gritty, darker Killzone. We will have to wait a long time for this though, like end of PS6 lifecycle 2035, something like that. Now, I still think a big shooter is missing in Sony's lineup, especially now that Concord flopped big time. I totally think that if that team made a Killzone multiplayer game instead, it would have lasted way longer than the 2 weeks that Concord was live. Now, Sony is still taking their live service projects very seriously though, as they now moved Bungie creative studio heads to PlayStation to lead a creative team over all the PlayStation live service titles. So first, these senior people were only in charge of Destiny 2 and Marathon, but now they have to make sure that Fair Games, the Sony banned game, and Horizon Online are going to hit properly as well. We'll keep you posted on how things are going. And a true competitor to Horizon Online will of course be Monster Hunter Wilds, that announced an open beta test for this coming week. You can make your own character and also transfer this character to the full game when it launches. You can also play through the opening of the game and fight against the frog-like Kadakabra. And you can do this alone or with friends, just like the biggest part of the beta, which the Doshamaga hunt in one of the newer, larger open levels that the game will feature. I saw this level at Summer Game Fest, and it's cool that also other monsters like roam this level. When a thunderstorm happens, another monster will join, so it will be a fun open beta for sure. It will kick off on Thursday, October 31st, 8 PM Pacific time, so on November 1st in Europe and in the UK, and last till November 3rd or the 4th, depending on your region. So that one is on all platforms. You don't need PS Plus or Game Pass Core. But if you do have PS Plus on PlayStation 5, then you can actually play this open beta 3 days early. So you see the dates all right here. Let me know if you will play it, of course, in the comments down below. Timing is not great for me though, as Dragon Age is also launching at the same time, and we have many plans for the Veilguard, so expect a lot of spoiler-free tips and tricks. There will also be reviews going up on Monday. I sadly don't have a code yet, so don't expect a review from me. Again, a lot of tips and tricks though. I also got an Assassin's Creed Shadows video, and Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is of course launching as well this week with a $10 upgrade if you already own the base game. So really a ton to look forward to. Again, doing a giveaway for an upcoming game of your choice. You can choose on any platform, but only if you are a subscriber of the channel. So if you are not, please subscribe. Let's reach that 1 million this year. That would be amazing. A like on the video would of course be awesome. And check out our big video on important things you need to know before playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.